I had a nightmare last night. The whole length of the Scottish border was a sea canal stretching all the way from the west coast to the east coast, wide enough for huge ships to pass from the North Sea to the Saltreef Berth. England was now totally detached from Scotland. It looks like Alex Salmond's prophecy is coming true. Scotland is a country, and now a totally separate country. When Alex Salmond passed away last week, we in the mainstream media went in for the kill. That's independence knocked on the head forever, we screamed. Nothing could have been further from the truth. We've well and truly been rumbled, outclassed by yesers. We've only just been made aware that for several months now, different factions of the independence movement have been meeting in public, having jolly nice friendly lunches, and figuring out how to combat the mainstream media and Westminster political parties. Barge poles are getting much shorter and less pointy. No more pulling pigtails and acting the school bully. Personally, I'm terrified. It's scaring the living daylights out of us unionists, particularly BBC Reporting Scotland, who are my personal protectors from the herds of pesky rebuttal types. I can picture the extremists now, typing away furiously with two wizened arthritic fingers, creating some story to irritate my colleagues and I. It's already started, and Glenn Campbell was the first to suffer. All was going well, we thought. We'd managed to forge through some pretty unpleasant stuff without too much fuss, and we genuinely thought our constant attacks of the independence movement was working. The BBC Scotland rabble were doing a reasonable job, considering most of the reporters and presenters have no discernible qualifications or talent. The Indy Warriors have risen up from nowhere in their droves, and we have been outclassed with what we thought were ignorant knuckle draggers. It turns out these people are a lot more dangerous than our poorly qualified MPs, journalists, reporters, presenters. We are now facing a massive force of retired engineers, company execs, former chief execs, lawyers, marketing experts, accountants, political activists, all very, very angry with how we are handling our first weeks in office, and the gall of the NSN to insult the intelligence of the Scots in general. To make things 1,000 times worse, BBC Scotland decided to wheel out Glenn Campbell, who does an interview which can only be described as inflammatory, sending almost everyone into a frenzy. Yes, Glenn royally effed up. We were, and still are, faced with a massive problem. We were already unpopular with the Scottish electorate for lying to them about umpteen things. And I'm not exactly squeaky clean with my watch my lips, no austerity theatrics. It's more like watch my lips, more temerity from Labour. Keir, our glorious leader, is having a meltdown as he hates coming to Scotland to smooth things over every time Ian Murray and I screw up, as he just can't cope with the volume of abuse he gets. As the Japanese Admiral Yamamoto is said to have quoted after attacking Pearl Harbor, I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve. My dear colleagues, my gut feel is we are heading for a massacre at the hands of these grassroots people who are far more motivated and educated than we are. I go to say that we are seriously outnumbered. Alec returned to Scotland on Friday to a massive welcome home with a cortege of Yes bikers, family, friends and Indy supporters. BBC Scotland did their best to suppress the occasion, but the independence warriors sprung out of hiding to counter them. Hundreds of keyboard warriors and amateur camera people leapt into action. Laptops were red hot, Twitter was a meltdown, and there was anger at the MSM, particularly that idiot Campbell. Looks like Ian Murray and Jackie Bailey will be the first for the chopping block, as they're simply too weak and frankly surplus to requirements. Scary thing is, I'm beginning to think I am too. I'm not looking forward to next week. I'm going to be hiding in Colonial Quay with my minders.